So most of you being music education or vocal performance majors have probably thought about yourselves as a musician. Yes, that's a good thing.
Yes.
And maybe have thought about yourself as an educator or a future educator. Have you ever thought of yourselves as writers?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Not really.
So when did you think of yourself as a writer?
Not until like my senior year in high school when I did dual enrollment. In my high school, there were so many people that were qualifying for AP classes, there was actually a wait list and you had to test it, and I didn't get in any of those. So instead, I took dual enrollment, which was college classes in high school, and you get credit for it. So I got my first college professor, English professor, and like changed my whole way of thinking about writing, and it always came really easy to me, and I just really enjoyed it.
Good. How about you, Samantha?
Oh, not really, but I felt more like a writer when I did that vocal ped paper.
Okay.
I did all this research,
That's
like I'm
good.
writing a thesis, and so I felt very, it felt more like I was a writer at that point, but.
Excellent. In general, we've done a lot of different writing. We've done informal writing, form of the blog. That's also been a little bit collaborative in your groups, and the formal research paper and the observations that you do on a regular basis. Is there anything that you have learned about you as a writer, maybe your own tendencies, what you like to write about and what you don't, or the writing process in general from going through these two courses?
Well, I think my writing skills improved since we had to write lots of observations, especially since I'm a graduate student. I had twice more observations than everybody else, and I kind of get used to it. So it's like you're talking and you just put in the words, but in the better words. And when I was writing my paper, it's really easy to write about that you know, something that you know, and that if you kind of didn't understand something, it's really hard to put in your own words, and yes, but I think it's improved a lot.
I feel the opposite of Randy. I was always very intimidated by writing, like very intimidated to the point to where like it's almost scared me. And I guess just because, I don't know, just I run out of things to say really quick, and then I don't have the length, I don't have the depth, and I just start freaking out, or like I don't have enough of my own word, I don't know what my own word is, and I'm just freaking out, what do I do? And it just goes down a downhill spiral from the beginning. And then eventually I get it done, and it feels like, I don't know, it feels like that I can finally like drop the 30-pound weights in my hands. Yeah, but it's, I've always found, I mean, I get the writing done, but I've always found it to be a very laborious process and kind of intimidating depending on the length.
So did that change for you at all during the class, or
A
intensify?
little bit. At first it was worse, and I was really afraid of that long paper. But once it was over, I felt like it was a milestone. Like, oh well, I've never written this much before. Maybe I could do it again someday.
Okay.
But it was good. It did a lot of good.
Okay.
Not have to push myself to that much.
In the span of a class, you don't have the chance to revisit a piece of writing more than once. So this time you were able to make a second revision. Did that change your perspective at all?
Comparing writing to music or like singing, you're never perfect. There's always you're never going to write the perfect paper that clearly explains everything, has the perfect amount of flow and all that stuff. So it's a process that can always you can keep on improving it. Just like your voice, I mean, you're never going to have the perfect voice. You're never going to go in and be like, nailed everything, nailed my artistry, nailed the technical aspects. So being able to go back and have the opportunity to fine tune, like what we do in our lessons, it's almost deepening the process.
I feel like because there was so much time in between papers, it was a little bit easier to take a step back and be like, okay, somebody else wrote this paper. I'm looking through and revising someone else's paper, not your own thoughts. Because when you're thinking of it as, I'm revising my own thoughts, you're not going to want to change any of your own thoughts. So it was a little bit easier to take that step back and be like, okay, reading it from a different perspective, I'm just correcting someone else's paper.
Okay. Did you find the blog process helpful, or are you finding it helpful?
Blogs help me, I feel like I can communicate better in writing sometimes than I can verbally with people. Like, because I have time to like go back and revise my thoughts and change the order of things.
And I like it because I can speak the way that I can write the way that I speak instead of trying to be academic, because I would rather give a public presentation about a topic than write a paper every day. I would just prefer speaking in front of people because I think it's easier. And so I can actually speak, instead of trying to make it really academic and thick, I can just speak the way I speak and just like, these are my thoughts. And it flows better, I think.
Okay. Speaking about the presentations, did you find them helpful for your revisions of the paper? How so?
Because when you were all done and people were asking you questions, you either had an answer or you didn't. And if you didn't, then you knew, okay, well, I didn't discuss that enough in my paper. I need to discuss it in this way because obviously I didn't get it across.
Do that, or it gives you other questions to answer. I mean, I had some questions that I was like, okay, I didn't really think about it in that way. Let me go back and try and add something in there to answer that question and give a little bit more information at the same time.
Do you foresee yourselves using writing professionally?
I think it'd be, with us getting to also read journal articles for the Journal of Singing, I'm like, oh, that would be so, because I mean, like I said, I don't mind, I love writing, and so being able to combine both things that I love singing, I love music, and then I love writing, and just having people read it, and then they get to discuss what I wrote, I don't know, just, it's so cool. It's like putting a part of yourself out there for people to, you know, just discuss, and yeah.
That's good. So is that a goal of yours?
Yeah, that would totally be a goal of mine. I mean, this just, to me, gives goosebumps kind of like.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Are you going?